Afternoon, guys. Ignore the state of my hair. It's absolutely mental today. I'm going swimming later though, so there's no point in me doing anything with it. So I said I was going to do a video on triggers, and I didn't do it last night. I forgot, so I'm going to do a video on triggers now. So one thing I've noticed, obviously I didn't even know what the word triggers meant when I first started this journey. I didn't know I would have so many of them and experience so many of them. One thing I've learned in the nearly 70 days now, 69 days I've been sober, is that everything is a trigger for me. I used to use, anything as an excuse to have a drink. If it was a hot day, that would be what would now be classed as a trigger, because I would want to go down the pub. If it was a cold day and it was a snow day and we couldn't leave the house because we couldn't get the car out, that would trigger me, as I've recently found out. Going food shopping, that's another one, because I'd automatically go whizzing down past the wine aisle, and obviously that's a trigger now as well. And it's everywhere, guys. It could be anything. Like, one thing that's not a trigger for me, for example, is going to the cinema. I never ever fancied having a drink at the cinema. It's not something I would do. So that doesn't bother me, right? That's one of the things that doesn't bother me. Going out is a trigger. Like, I've been out 4 times now, and twice, the first 2 times I was a miserable cow. Second 2 times I was all right. But yeah, unless you're in a really, really strong mindset, do not put yourself in that situation. It is just not worth it at all. Because I mean, the first 2 times I did go out, I wasn't used to it. And I sat there or stood there miserable and sort of envious and jealous of everybody else having a drink. Even though I know like what I was doing was the right thing. It did niggle away at me, and it made me a bit miserable. So it took me a good couple of times going out to get used to the idea. And now it's like a way of life. Don't get me wrong. There is always going to be a voice. There's always going to be a voice in your head going, oh, well, maybe you could just have one, But you know that can't happen, guys, especially if you're like me. I mean, I couldn't ever just have one. It would always be down in pints and down in like shots and whatever, and then back at somebody's house 3, 4 in the morning. And then get up the next day and go again, and that's what you've got to remember. You've got to play that tape forward all the time and put yourself in the situation that is going to get you in. But yeah, apart from that, I mean, things like triggers, what I realised with triggers is that sometimes they'll spring up on you when you don't know they're going to happen. Like the other day we had snow, and I had no idea that a snow day was going to be a trigger. And as soon as it was snowing, it was a day when the kids weren't in school anyway. So the kids were home. And it kind of reminded me of when, like, we couldn't get out because the roads were covered and the kids couldn't go to school. And I'd usually get bored because I'd be sat in the house. I'd do a bit of housework and then be like, right, okay, get a glass of wine on the go. So that was a trigger for me, because it made me think, oh, should I go to the shop and whatever? That's something I would have definitely done. 100%, that's something I would have done in the past. So that was a learning curve for me. I wasn't expecting to feel like that just because we had a bit of snow, but there we go. It's all a learning curve, guys. And it's going to catch you out sometimes. And when it does catch you out, you start to like realize out, you've got to use all the tools you've got available to you. So you've got to do, like, I've got to distract myself or jump on live or, do a video or speak to somebody. Speaking to somebody is so important. Like, I'm lucky, obviously, I've run this amazing WhatsApp group. The WhatsApp group, guys, is only for people that have given up, obviously, for 10 days with me, and obviously then continue on that journey. I don't got the capacity to take on everybody, unfortunately. I wish I could, but it would just be too many people. So, it's only for the people that want to do the 10-day challenge and then stay with me after that for extra support. And then obviously now they're looking at doing a 30-day challenge, the ones that have done the 10 days and so forth. And it's all about breaking it down into manageable size chunks, because in the same way that if you told yourself you had to lose like 5 stone, like I've got to lose about 4 stone. And when I think about the prospect of having to lose that weight, it is such a like overwhelming thing to have to come to terms with. But if you, I gotta stop saying I'm so sorry. But yeah, if you break it down into manageable chunks, so you just say, one day at a time, like they do in recovery groups, like they do in AA and whatever. That's one of the only things that I really take from that. Like I said, I haven't done a group yet, but I know they say that a lot, and I resonate with that so much. Like, it is one day at a time. Sometimes it's minute by minute, and sometimes it's hour by hour if you're having a bad day. But you can do it, and then when you wake up the next day and you feel sober and you realise that you haven't given in, that's the best feeling feeling ever. Like, that beats any line I've ever had. It beats any can I've ever opened. It really does beat everything, hands down. But it's getting through those moments. And, you know, that's what I'm here for. That's what, you know, I want to be a support network to people. I can't add everyone to the WhatsApp group, obviously. I am limited, but I will always reply to your messages, guys. I've got a Facebook group. I've got, which is brilliant for support. There's people on there sharing all the time. And it really does help to get things out and into the open. You can post anonymously as well. So if you don't want your name out there, that's absolutely fine. But somebody will always reply. So make use of those tools, guys. You know, AA is not for everybody and CA is not for everybody. And if it's not for you and you want to try something different, then, you know, you can just drop a follow, get on my Facebook group, and we'll support you as best as we can. It is just an alternative, guys, to the norm. Like, I don't think recovery is one shoe fits all or one size fits all. And I've never, I am sort of thinking about the idea of going to a meeting just for extra support. I am obviously building my own platform, and that's priority for me at the moment, because I'm helping other people in their recovery, and also it's helping me in mine. There was a few ropey moments in the beginning where I had a bad back and it got on top of me, but that was all to do with the fact that I was so down because of my back, you know, and I couldn't get anywhere, I couldn't do the swimming and all the rest of it. And I'm like, you know, I'm really in a good place now, so I want to be helping other people. Yeah, so day 70 tomorrow. When you've got triggers, guys, just do everything you can. You know, get on the Facebook group and speak to people. Ring family and friends if you can, if you know, if they know about your problems. And you know, do things that distract you, like go for a walk. I know it sounds boring, but just do it, because it will help. Get out there for a little walk, even if it's just around the block. Go for a drive, as long as you know you're not going to drive to a bloody shop. And if you're struggling with things like food shopping, get your food shopping delivered, right? Because that will help. And not clicking anything in the basket. But what I mean is, because then you haven't got to go through the aisle, because it's the aisle that's a trigger for me, not the actual clicking it online. That doesn't do it for me. But if I went into the shop and I saw the aisle, and it's right next to the laundry aisle in Asda, so, you know, it's always there. If you're struggling with that, just do a food shop online, just temporarily, or get someone else to do your food shopping for you. Just, you know, don't stop making excuses, because everybody will always make an excuse. Just try and be really tough on yourself in the first couple of days to get yourself through it. The cravings are temporary. They will pass. Yeah, they are intense at times. I get them and they're intense when they happen for me, but it's about riding them out in the same that you would with anything. And I promise you, if you do that, it is so worth it. Peace and love. Oh, and a cash point is also a trigger for me. Getting money out, that's also a trigger. So I guess someone else will get money out for me, or I just use my card. Peace and love.